There were a few things Kenner planned for the Star Wars line that never made it to market. Let's take a look at a few of those. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to look at some plans that Kenner had to put a little bit more juice in the Star Wars line, pick up some extra sales. Most of these, we're not really sure why they didn't get released or get more than the planning stage. And at times it was Lucasfilm that had a lot of rules going with Kenner, such as they were really iffy about things that wasn't seen in the movie. Now, before we get started, I just want to tell you, if you hadn't noticed yet, we do a video Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock. And 2 live streams a day, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. It's a lot of fun over there. You never know what's going to happen. Those chatters in the live stream sent me off into a Farm Boy Luke rant last night. And if you want to see the best stuff from those live streams, head over to That Junkman Live. Links in the description below. There, I put up clips from the show. A lot of fun over there. If you hadn't checked us out, come back 11 a.m., 7 p.m. Monday through Friday for our live stream. We have a lot of fun. It's just a little hang more than anything else. We play quiz games, trivia games, and just talk and have a good time. So check that out. Now, let's get into these figures. That's what you come here for. Now, before you tell me in the comments section or get all upset that I've done this video before, some of these things I've talked about in videos before. And I don't think I've talked about them all, but if I have, I hadn't talked about them all in one video. So we'll get a lot of new subscribers, so it's always good to go back and touch base on some of the things maybe I talked about 2 years ago. So let's get started with it and look at the first one here. And although this one's a little different than the rest you will see in the series, this is more of a early look of design. The Death Star droid was going to look a lot different than we got. Here's the prototype. As you can see, it uses the body of C-3PO, but that head, that is totally different than the Death Star droid we got. I'm not really sure how they came up with this design for the toy line, as I don't remember any droid looking anything like this in A New Hope. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know. The droid does appear in one of the Kenner coloring books, believe it or not. As you can see from this German catalog here, Series 2 was going to look a lot different. I mean, look at that X-Wing Luke pilot. But again, this is probably just a prototype. Power droid's all blue. R5-D4 is a lot different also. But of course, the one that stands out here is that Death Star droid. Being it's painted almost the same, but the head is just totally different than what we got or anything we saw in the film. One thing Kenner always seemed to toy around with, no pun intended, or maybe it is intended, I don't know. But one thing Kenner always toyed around with was putting more accessories with the figure. I mean, after all, more accessories meant more of a retail price, which meant more profit in Kenner's pocket. So one of the gimmicks was to release deluxe figures. Figures already on the market with a little extra accessories here. Let's take this one from Reese. This is Reese with some kind of binocular system that hooks to his back. To me, it looks like he's doing an eye exam. Maybe he had a good insurance plan with Jabba, and Jabba wanted to make sure all the aliens were on par with their sight. But here it is. You snap it to his back, it goes over the head, and he looks through it. I'm guessing this is some kind of binocular system, but it's really weird and not really a much needed accessory. Talk about crazy accessories with a figure, check this one out. Now, the prototype has it with Princess Leia, but we don't know if it would have came with the Princess Leia, or maybe it was an accessory you could buy yourself and attach it to any figure you wanted. But it sure did make the Leia Bosch figure look more badass than she did already. As you can see from this prototype, she comes with a green army helmet, some kind of crane arm that looks like it might be from the droid factory, and some badass looking machine gun. Don't mess with this Princess Bounty Hunter. She's just waiting to blow up your friend's G.I. Joe. Now, through the years, they did spoof up R2-D2. We got the standard R2. Of course, with the droid factory, if you count it as an action figure, we got the 3-legged R2. Empire, we got the sensor scope. And then Power of the Force, we got the lightsaber, one of my favorite. Although I didn't have that one as a kid, didn't know about it until the 90s. I love that figure with the little lightsaber. Although the lightsaber looks a little odd with like a bubble into it, just to keep it inside the head good. I guess that was done to keep it inside the head good. But anyway, they actually tinkered with planning to do an R2 that talked. As you can see from these photos here, electronics was placed inside the R2 unit, so it would play those famous sounds from R2-D2. This is something Hasbro would do when they took over the Star Wars line in the 90s. Now let's take a look at two figures we really don't know that much about. First was a stormtrooper that was all black. There's not really much known about this planned stormtrooper, although it's all black, and it seems to be based on the Star Wars Sunday comic strip that featured the Black Shadow stormtrooper. It's the same mold as the regular stormtrooper, but it is painted black. White stormtrooper, black stormtrooper, yellow stormtrooper. Now a lot of us do have a yellow stormtrooper, that's just cause it's faded over time. But Kenner almost released a yellow stormtrooper. There's not much known about this figure at all. There's really no details. And what it's based on, no one's not even sure about that. As you can see, the arms and legs are black, but the middle is more of a yellow look. Theories on what this figure is ranges. That maybe Kenner was looking to do multiple different color stormtroopers for kids that just wanted more troopers, but didn't want to feel like they were buying the same figure over and over again. Let's take a look at two figures Kenner was going to spoof up. Now, I'm sure they were going to do more than just these two figures, especially if the line was a hit. But this is where they take figures, add some metallic looking paint to it to make it more shinier. The first one here is the Royal Guard. As you can see here, the helmet's more shinier with a metal look to it. The other prototype made for this line was a TIE Fighter pilot. As you can see here, the middle and head is gold and shiny, but the arms and legs are the original black and gray. Again, this is probably just Kenner's way to try to sell some figures they already sold a lot of. Playmates actually did this with the Star Trek line in the 90s. One of the most famous unreleased set of figures has to be the Wookiee family from the holiday special. Let's take a look at it. And as many of you know, Kenner did plan to release a Wookiee family as part of the holiday special. They even was planning to make a Boba Fett and that dragon lizard thing that he rides on in the cartoon. But here's the Wookiee family. And yes, you're right. You see it. I see it. We all see it. That's Wookiee boobs. Now, this next one was released in the 1985 Power of the Force line, although they look a lot different than what we got. But let's look at the prototypes from the Return of the Jedi line of these accessories you add to the figure to make them fly. As you can see from this prototype, it hooks onto the figure. The figure used here is, of course, General Madine. It would take more than a snap-on jetpack to make General Madine a fun figure. You also have the Stormtrooper one. As you can see here, it looks much like the later released 1985 accessory without the camouflage paint. Now let's look at the weirdest accessory Kenner was thinking of doing. This was a little gadget you would hook onto the figure, put your hands in it, and make the figure's arms and legs move. Check it out. Here's the prototype. As you can see here, it hooks to the back of the figure, attaches to the arms and legs, and even the head. With a moving of the fingers, you can make your figures walk, arms move, and the head turn. It looks like a black cloth would also came along with this gadget to help hide your hand, making your friends wonder, how are you getting your Star Wars figures to move? Sure, I see strings on them, and you're wearing a black bag on your hand, but other than that, it's like magic. This never got much farther than this stage, and it was quickly canceled. And for this to work, the figures would have had to be retooled, something I'm sure Kenner wouldn't have done just for this one accessory. Add-on, well, that's a look at some Star Wars Kenner toys we almost got. Let me know in the comments below. Would you have liked to use that to make your action figures walk and their heads turn? It's be interesting for sure. What about that Wookiee family? Would you have wanted a lumpy Baka action figure? I know I would. And what about that Princess Leia Bosch figure with a rocket and helmet? Crazy. Anyway, let me know what you think of these in the comments below. And as always, thumb ups to know you like my content. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Junkman.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.